Live. Just got an error message. Let me just double check over on YouTube. Looks like we're live. Perfect. Hey, everyone. Awesome. Hey, Mohammed, Noel. I know we were just talking a second ago in the chat. Super cool stuff that you're building. Your podcast. I'll give it a listen after today's live stream. Mohammed, good to see you as well. Today's going to be a little different for everybody watching because Bilal is not going to be able to join it. So it'll just be me. So it's kind of interesting. I'm talking to myself, and I hope you all, help me out today and ask questions in the chat. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about today, and we'll dig into some of the crazy new updates that were released in the last few days. So we'll do a demo. We'll talk about how I'm using some of the new features. But yeah, so Franny, happy Hump Day. Yes, happy Hump Day, Weekly Wednesday. And I always love just popping people's names up on the chat. So if you're here, you're joining for the first time, say hello, say where you're calling in from. I know last week we had people from all around the world, from Australia, the UK, some people here in San Francisco as well. So, yeah. And if you're just joining for the first time, my name is Pearson Marks. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Jellypod, and we're an AI podcast studio, making it super easy for you to take information and create conversational, natural sounding podcasts that are engaging and fun, can be easily distributed to platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more, and just all in one platform. Yesterday, I actually had a conversation with somebody talking about how they use Transistor, which is an additional podcast hosting service for their podcast website. And if you're on here, if you're here today watching the live stream but haven't said hi yet, super interesting why you use Transistor for their website, because our goal is to make Jellypod like that one place where you could host, create, do all of it without another subscription. And so if it's the custom website that needs improvement, that's been on our roadmap, and we're gonna take that feedback and make that episode make your podcast websites better. So, oh sweet, you're in the UK, cool, nice, nice, that's awesome. Yet to be, I've never been to the UK actually. It's on my bucket list. But very cool. Okay, so let me just so I remember everything that we launched this week. This week was huge. So I'm curious if you've read the product updates in the weekly Wednesday email. Just let me know. Like, do you guys already know about the product updates? Should I do a demo? I'm relying on you all to kind of help guide today's session because I uh, I don't have a co-host today, so it's just me. It'll be a long monologue, and hopefully my voice doesn't get too overwhelming. Integration with Squarespace would be cool. That would be cool. Um, yeah, I wonder how that would work. So sweet. Let me just, I'm going to share my screen today because it'll be better than you just all looking at me. Perfect. Here we go. Share this screen over here. Um, yeah, so This week was pretty cool. I think we released 5 new features. So, yeah, for any is saying demos are nice, we're going to give you some demos today. Hopefully, the demos work flawlessly. Um, Doing them live always is fun. But yeah, so there's been 5 new updates this week. And let me just read them off real quick. So we can now edit slash add or remove sources at any point in episode creation. So previously, you could only add or remove sources right here on this page before you generated your episode's outline. Now you'll be able to add new sources, remove sources that you don't want during the outline step. So this gives more flexibility to, creating your podcast, iterating on your episode. Huge update. The next one is something that I'll just talk about as well when we're going through the demo. But the UX has kind of changed in terms of how you're adding sources and how you're prompting and guiding the episode generation on this page as well. So there's something called a user prompt. We aligned more closely now with ChatGPT and Perplexity, where you could upload files onto this, text box right here, just like normal. But when you type into this box, you don't actually add your text as a source. Um, that text that you type here will just be a user prompt that you can use to steer the outline generation. For example, I want to create a podcast about space, about the moon and the solar system. I'll upload information um, onto into this box like a source, and then I could kind of type out, "Hey, focus specifically on why Pluto is no longer considered a planet," right? And that gives an additional lever that you can use to guide your episode outline creation right at the beginning. That's also a pretty big update. Then there's also this deep search functionality right here, um, which allows you to enhance your podcast with external research. So let's say we're creating that space podcast, and you upload 2 source documents. You type in here, "Hey, focus on why Pluto's not a planet," and any recent, maybe say, and recent changes or developments in the last like 2 weeks about Pluto, right? If you turn on deep search and you click generate your episode outline, we'll actually go out onto the internet, we'll do research for you, and pull in sources into your episode that can be edited and removed or added to, supplementing the content and the sources that you've already provided. So that's what deep search does, and we'll just give you a demo in a second. I know this is a lot, so we've talked about so far the ability to edit podcast sources um, during the outline step. We've talked about the user prompt. We've talked about this deep search functionality. We've also, a big update for free and paying users, we've increased the source limits for everybody across the board. So for free users, you can now add up to 5 sources to an episode. So that goes from 3 to 5. And then for paying subscribers, everyone across the board has increased their source limits to 20. So previously, this was a function that kind of tiered. Um, the starter tier, you could add 5 sources. The creator tier, you could add 10, and then business, you could add 20, I believe. Um, Now this is 20 across the board. So there's no limits essentially to sources. If you need more than 20, please reach out. I find it hard to imagine a situation where you would put 20 different sources in um, because there's just too much context. I don't know if it would really be meaningful anymore. But if you are doing that, let me know. We want to support you. Um, and hopefully this allows for everybody that's a paying customer of Jellypod can really fully max out sources, and you don't have to feel limited by that number. Um, and we've also improved our source processing speeds. So when you upload a large PDF, um, those sources will be processed more quickly now, and it's yeah, they'll be processed more quickly, and the maximum file size is now 50 megabytes. So previously it was 20, now it's 50. You could add a lot larger sources, they'll be processed more quickly, and hopefully that just gives you that, uh, yeah. So hopefully it just makes it better. And then finally, you can now generate images for individual episodes rather than just the podcast series. So I know this was something that a lot of people asked for. I want to generate images for each episode, not just the podcast series. Now you can do it directly in your episode outline. Mohammed just asked a really cool question here about for three-person podcast, can you allocate different sources to each person? That's a really interesting question. The way that Jellypod's built, it pretty much is like you have three people that are equally informed about all the source material. It's like they've all had some pre-reading, and all those hosts have read the documents, and they they've read the documents, and they just kind of want to yeah, they've all read the documents. So there's no way to really do this, but the way I would suggest getting around that, you could say here now in the user prompt, make sure one person focuses on one source, another person focuses on another source. Or you could go into the episode backstory of that host and just give them like a higher level description about like what content they should focus on or like the themes. That's kind of the way I would recommend doing this. Yeah, so cool. Let's do a little quick demo. I'm gonna pull this to the side and let me know if you can see my screen. If you guys can, just give me a thumbs up or just let me know in the chat. But if not, I'll just keep going. So also just heads up, if you don't know how to see where the product updates are, super easy. Just click on product updates in the bottom left hand corner. It'll show how many updates you haven't read yet. And then you could see, okay, July 22nd, we had 3 updates yesterday. You could view all of them here, but here are some of those updates that you could read and learn more. So I created this demo weekly Wednesday podcast series specifically for today. And it's just like a generic podcast series talking about Jellypod with Megan and Samantha as our hosts. And I had this like large PDF that's about Australian crustaceans. I believe this is the Australian crustacean ones. I forget now. But I add this as a source. It's pretty large, but it's going to process. And then I'm going to add in. Oh, interesting. Normally it should pull in a summary, but maybe something went wrong on the back end here. Cool. That's what you get on a live demo. And let's talk about Australian wildlife. We're gonna go to this link. I pasted that in. It popped up right there directly. Pulls it in. You can see it's done. And then, does anyone else have a suggestion? But You can see this PDF actually is 50 megabytes. It's a big PDF. That processed really quickly. So I just see just got a message that YouTube live stream might have dropped off. Let's see. I hope not. Shows 8 are watching. Um, I think it's still working. Um, hopefully, I have myself open on another tab. Um, so let me know. I see your message, so at least looks like it's working. But okay, technical difficulties. I think we're good though. Um, so we'll just awesome. Thank you, Mohammed. Uh, great. Okay, so we'll just like put in some uh, instructions here. Say focus on a king on kangaroos and mm, recent news about Australian wildlife. Oh, horrible typer today. And I'm going to turn on deep search. So that's just going to go and pull in sources from the internet. Click create episode outline. And so now with deep search, it's going to take a few seconds to start generating your outline. We're going to improve this and make the UI more transparent that, hey, there's something going on in the background that's like researching right now. But you can see sources is loading. You can't click on it. So what's happening right now is actually deep search. These agents are going out onto the internet, and based on the source material that we've provided and that prompt, it's going to create a research plan, go out onto the internet, find supplementary material that may improve your podcast. It'll find those links. It'll go to those web pages. It'll read the entirety of the web page, and then it'll pull those into your podcast. So see here how on the user prompt we specified kangaroos. Uh, that's what it focused on here. Um, and we'll just like look at so 3 chapter outline, super cool. So the source is right here. Comes from that source, and let's look. So look, we only added a PDF, and we added that one Australian URL, right? Now we have 5 sources. So when I click on 5 sources, we see the PDF that we uploaded. We saw this conservancy link, but then we also have these 3 other links that got pulled in from the deep search agent that that helped us do some of the research planning. So AI cameras, scientists produce first kangaroo through IVF, koala sanctuary for Kangaroo Island. Super cool. I mean, like, yeah, it's just super cool. So maybe I just don't want to, do this AI cameras thing. I don't want to include that source. Let me just remove it. It was deleted. And then let me just remove this PDF. I actually don't want that PDF here. Um, and yeah, these 3 sources look pretty good. I can click on them to see exactly the links if I want. And then now I could just regenerate the outline. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to make any difference because the source material is similar, but let's just give it a little regeneration. Here I could make it actually longer. So 3, 5, 7 chapters if I want it to be longer. And then a prompt. So this is that user prompt again. We can refine our outline with more information. So we focused previously on kangaroos. Let's focus on koalas this time. Focus on koalas and focus on koalas. Let's just say focus on koalas. It won't do the deep research again. Um, that's just at the beginning, but it will reuse the sources. Now it's focusing on koalas, why koalas matter, challenges facing koalas on Kangaroo Island. Super cool, right? And like we said, we can now generate episode images. So here's the image generator. Let's say, let's just do koalas. I don't, let's say put two koalas on a tree in the outback. We'll just generate that image. It takes, 10 seconds or so to generate that image, sometimes longer depending on load. But you could also just drag an image here, just like normal, if you have your own image. There we go, two koalas, finish. Perfect. So we went over editing and removing sources. So we could also add a website URL or drop some new files here if we have new ones. We went over episode image art generation. We went over deep search. We went over that user prompt. And that's pretty much uh, like everything. I mean, let me just see what else did we release this week. And then the increased source limits. So you saw that we had 5 sources there and it generated pretty quickly. So we'll just generate that script like normal. And while it's generating, okay, so time to open it up to the audience. What's your guys' thoughts? What's your favorite new feature? Anything that you're excited about? Anything I can clarify? Um, just put it in the chat. I know if you're having if you're having a question, other people are having a question. I went over that really quickly too. So if there's anything you want to re-see, just let me know. So there we go. We got I want to do portrait mode today. Give me some more room to edit my transcript over here. So yeah, I mean, let me know. Like, what's your thoughts? The update on adding additional sources is your favorite. Awesome. No, I think this is super cool. Right. I think it's my favorite as well. Um, I mean, like the number of people that have asked to be able to edit, remove sources are, probably everybody. I make an episode, I don't want to restart. I want to add a new source that I just thought of. So that's awesome. Thanks, Franny. And then Mohammed, the deep research feature, awesome. I'm curious, have you guys used it yet? I know it just came out yesterday, so no worries if not. Um, Probably just waiting for the demo to see like how it was working before using it. But deep research, adding this additional sources, awesome, super cool. Do you guys have any ideas about like what you're going to use it for? Like deep research, Mohammed. Um, yeah, I'm curious. I forget, Mohammed, what podcast you're creating right now. Um, but I'll be interested to see what you're using the deep search feature for. But
Hey everyone, welcome back to Weekly Wednesday. I'm Samantha Lee and I'm here with Megan Thompson. Today we're diving into the world of koalas, specifically the ones on Kangaroo Island.
nice. So we got the podcast generated. We can publish this. We'll just we won't publish it because it takes a minute to render and everything. But look, we have the episode image there too. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I mean, deep search, like this is one workflow that I do actually because so we have these episode suggestions that appear down here. These these suggestions use your previous episodes that you've created and your podcast title and background and story to description to suggest episodes. AI innovations and podcast production. See, this one's a kind of a stupid one because it didn't look at the koalas. I think it that makes sense because it only uses published episodes. So if I publish that koala episode, this would be like, let's try this actually. Let's go to the podcast series. Let's publish this episode. It'll take a second. But yeah, Queen's Journey, of course. Glad you can join us here. I'm actually thinking about doing some sort of webinar session. I don't know, like, if these types of demos are helpful for everybody. I know we use Weekly Wednesdays to kind of have a conversation about product launches and really for like our core group of super users that want to maximize how they use Jellypod. But we're also thinking about doing something like a weekly webinar, like on a Tuesday morning, that anybody can join. That like maybe a potential customer or somebody that's not actually using Jellypod yet, and just to kind of give them an overview of the platform and handhold them. So you all are more than welcome to come to those. I think we're going to start those soon, and you'd sign up. There'd be limited to like 10 people, and it'd be like one-on-one sort of guidance on using Jellypod. So here, let's see if these suggestions actually works. Okay, well, maybe you didn't think that the quals were relevant for this. It kind of makes sense. But if I go to baseline, this is my other podcast. It should show. I don't know why it didn't show. It didn't switch. Let me just refresh this page. Baseline. We'll just click on. See, this is one of these examples I think is pretty cool, where you use one of your suggestions and then you click on it, and then you click deep search on. You turn deep search on, and so we'll create episode outline with one of the suggestions, and so it's actually going to go out and do some research, pull in some sources for that suggestion. So that's super cool, Mohammed, on what you're creating. Right. Now I remember this. So yeah, and I know we're almost at 10:30, but hopefully this was kind of a good overview of everything that we released this week. And look, so see here again, deep search, what it did. We had those agents go out there. It found Jellypod. It found our website. Found another blog article, looks like. And this one's actually interesting. This might be an old article. Yeah, this is like a weird old article. But I just clicked on it. It won't share that screen. But yeah, so we can edit those and but that's pretty much all the new features that we released this week. Hopefully the session was helpful. Any other questions before we hop off? I know it's 10:30, but connect with me on LinkedIn on Twitter/X. It's just Pearson Marks on both platforms, on every platform. So please feel free to reach out. Um, I'm always in support, trying to answer all your questions if you have any. I post on my personal accounts about Jellypod all the time and just, the state of AI and generative media and all that stuff. So feel free to connect. And if there's no questions or any other comments about how to use these new features, I'll wait a few seconds, but we'll end it. And yes, there will be a recap of this. So right after the live ends, it just becomes a recording. So you can watch the recap, and we do this every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So just hop on to this live stream. We'll send an email out every week. It's on our YouTube channel, so subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already. Join our Discord, follow us on LinkedIn and on X, and you'll get all these notifications to make sure that you hop on. And yeah, cool. So we'll end that here, and I will see everybody next week. And hope you guys enjoy the new features, and looking forward to hearing next week about what you're struggling with and what you're using. See y'all.